And we are live. Yay!
Hi.
Sorry, I was drinking.
Okay. I always give a few seconds, just let people like get in here, say hello, whatever they want to do, and then I'll just start talking and take over because I do that.
Oh my god, there we are.
And everyone looking at us was like,
oh, what's happening?
I love how I'm commenting in the thing, even though I'm literally here and I can just say it out loud.
Okay, we all do that. We all say hello.
Yeah, we do that.
Yeah. It's completely normal. If you guys at any time need to like jump out or whatever, I can put you right back in. So don't think that you'll leave the live or anything like that if something happens or whatever, And I know some of you got to leave a little bit earlier. Totally fine. Just say, hey, I'm going to go. And then you can just leave immediately. Like it doesn't mess up anything. So you're good.
No, you can't leave.
You can never leave. You're stuck here forever. As long as I say, you have to be here.
It's going to be a long one.
We're excited. Okay, so we have quite a few people here saying hi. Definitely some familiar names in here. Hi, Leilani.
Hey, Leilani.
hi.
She's so supportive. She's so great.
She is.
Hi. I don't know who this person is. I don't think I've seen them in my lives before, so it must be one of your friends.
What a great name, Dewey.
Yeah.
Dewey, I love it. Hey, Carrie.
Hi. What are we reading?
Oh, man, I forgot to bring my books.
That I didn't even think to say, hey guys, what are you guys reading? So, first of all, welcome to the live show. So basically, we're not going to talk about like a specific book. So we're not going to get any spoilers hanging out here with us. We're just going to talk about horror in general, horror books that we love. We're going to get to know some of these girls that I've just come to find their channels recently, and I want to get to know a little more about them. So I wanted to do a live because it's fun. So I'm going to call each of them out, let them talk about their channels and what type of horror that they like to read. And then also let us know what you guys are reading too. So
Cool.
We'll do that too. I didn't even think to ask you guys that before.
What am I reading?
Age-old question.
So I'm going to start with Jay because she's the first one.
Oh, yeah.
Crystal!
So Jay, what is your name, your channel? Well, obviously your name's Jay, but what is your channel name? What do you like to do on your channel? What do you like to read?
Yeah, so my name is Jay, and my channel is Cup of Jay, mostly because I'm constantly with coffee or tea. And I do read a lot of horror on my channel. It's pretty recent, even though I've been a horror lover all of my life. I've just gotten into reading adult horror fiction just this year. And honestly, my biggest genre that I read constantly is probably any type of fantasy. I started with YA, but I definitely love a good high fantasy. And I've just like delved into the horror genre this year, and it's been kind of magical to realize that there's so much more other than like Stephen King.
Yeah.
There really is. That's awesome. What are you reading right now? Are you reading horror right now?
I am not reading horror right now because here's the thing. I feel I celebrate Halloween like it's like every day of the year. And then when it comes around to Halloween, I am mildly burnt out. It's super ridiculous.
I get that.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. So right now I'm actually in like a big witch phase. So I'm reading The Once and Future Witches by Alex Harrow.
Oh yeah, I saw that on your
Yeah,
story.
I'm still on it. But I'm really loving the suffragette witch vibe, and there's they include a lot of like classical fairy tales in them, and they give them like a witch spin. They focus on the witch in the classic fairy tales. It's super cool.
I
Oh,
really like that. I feel like Crystal would love that.
Yeah.
Crystal,
Oh, yeah.
by the way. Hi, Crystal. I definitely feel that same thing about Halloween. Like, I feel like more so I just like to watch more horror movies during Halloween time, like during October, than read horror since I read horror all year round. So
Yeah.
I feel like that same exact way. I usually get slumpy because I end up watching more horror than actually reading things. Like, I feel like that's probably pretty normal for all of us horror lovers. Like we do it all the time, so it's not new to us.
Yeah.
No, not new at all. And it's funny because we love the dark and the scary and the violent. And then there just comes a moment where you sort of hit a wall. At least I do, where I'm like, I need something light and happy and sappy just for a second. And then I can dive back into the bloody and we're good to go.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel it. Yeah. Marcy, you're next.
Hey everybody, I'm Marcy from Marcy Reads, and of course I'm here, so I'm a horror lover as well, but I do read a little bit of everything: fantasy, YA, middle grade, sci-fi. Sci-fi horror is like my jam. And yeah, I just do a lot of wrap-ups and book hauls, a lot of book hauls on my channel. And I dabble a little bit in vlogging, but I suck at it, so that's it. And then I am in between reads right now. I just actually, like 30 minutes before jumping on with you girls, I had just finished Invisible Girl by Lisa Jewell. Lisa Jewell.
I just finished that.
Yeah, and I loved it. I love Lisa Jewell's books, and so yeah, I'm also participating in Tome Topple these 2 weeks. So I'm in between picking my next read for that.
That's awesome. I'm glad that you like Invisible Girl.
I have a question. Is Invisible Girl horror?
It's
thriller.
Oh, see, I have not bridged into the thriller genre just yet.
You know, thriller genre is like great. They're great reading slump busters because especially if you get like a really good one. Yeah, because they're so quick and fast paced, and they have you guessing. So they're great for in-between horror books.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to have to grab one then.
Yeah. I feel like I definitely suggest it for someone who's like doesn't normally read thrillers to just jump into thrillers, because like if you read a lot of thrillers, they do become kind of predictable. Yeah. But like you said, they're so fast they're so easy to read though. Because I was feeling slumpy too. And I started Invisible Girl. And I just like flew through it because they're such quick reads, even even the chunky ones, like they're just so easy to get through. Especially if you're feeling. Yeah. And there's some that bridge on, like, I don't know, have you ever read Home Before Dark?
See, I have not read a single Riley Sager book, and I think it's crazy because it's been on my list and everyone and their mom talks about some Riley Sager, but
it's good. He has some good books.
It's definitely like a good thriller horror bridge, I think.
Yeah.
I'm gonna check her out.
Yeah, you definitely should. I mean, it's a he, but I think
it's a he.
That's his pseudonym. I think, from what I heard, he uses this pseudonym Riley Sager to like sound like a female.
Oh, yeah. It was for sales.
Yes. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah,
I didn't know
That's
that.
interesting.
That is beyond interesting. I just like no one ever told me it was a girl. I just assumed it was a girl.
Yeah, I've heard it.
Well, and he always has
My
main
cousin
characters
reached
are
out
always
to me and
girls
she was
too.
like, "Oh, I want to
That's
read
it.
some
Yeah.
Riley Sager. I've never read her books." And I was like, "Oh, it's a guy, by the way." And she was like, and I was like, "Yeah, I heard," but I thought his name was actually Riley. I've heard of guys' names like Riley.
Yeah.
But yeah, he does. I guess it's a pseudonym.
Interesting.
But you're not the only one that thinks that. A lot of people think that it's a female author. But I think that's what he does on purpose. Leilani's reading The House on the Cerulean Sea because she was in a horror burnout, which we were just talking about.
That book is phenomenal. Have y'all read that?
Oh, I
I haven't read it yet.
Oh my God.
I have it, and I want to read it before the end of the year.
Y'all, you guys, you're gonna have to text. You have to let me know. It's phenomenal. Now it's very light, and it's like a middle grade for adults. there's a lot of feels in it.
Ooh.
That's
Oh,
the
yeah.
kind of book
Oh,
not
yeah.
like it.
I'll have to find a specific time for that. I don't like to fly very much. Carrie Ann said her son's name is Riley. See?
There you go.
I just always, I think it was because I first found out about his books on Booktube. So when they had talked about him, they were like, just like, I love his books. So then immediately I was just like, I knew it was a guy. But for people who have just seen the name, I could totally see it going the other way. House in the Cerulean Sea is by far one of my favorite books I've read this year. So wholesome. Oh. Okay, I might try. Okay, I don't know. I'm nervous. I'm nervous about the really hard-hitting books. They just like scare me.
Oh my gosh, they're my favorite.
I literally only read hard-hitting books. I fear for my own mental health because I see like a hard-hitting book and I'm like, damn it.
Yeah, when somebody says, "Oh, this book made me cry," I'm like, "What is it? Tell me."
Need it. Yeah.
Yeah, more. You do read a lot
And they're
of
happy tears. 100% happy tears. Like, you close the book and you're like, yes, I feel good about my life.
I'm always like so happy with it, and like like after. But I'm just like, if someone tells me like, "Oh, this book's gonna really make you cry," and I'm just like, "Am I ready for that emotional?" Well, I don't know. I cry enough in my daily life. I don't know if I can cry some more.
I understand.
I avoid any types of like movies. Like I think we talked about this in the last I have like this book club. Marcy and Carol are part of it, but we read weird books each month. The last book that we read was Hollow Kingdom, and it involves like animals during a zombie apocalypse type deal. So I was like, any animal book, I usually just avoid it altogether.
Me too.
Book, animal movie, any movie that's like I know is gonna like the boy
Commercial.
In the
Oh,
movie that I know
It would hurt me
I just
bad.
avoid it.
that's a bad
Like
one.
the plague. I just can't. I don't know if I'm ready for it.
Love it.
And yet I watch shows like Grey's Anatomy and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, why do you do this to me, Shonda Rhimes? I don't know why I do it to myself. Anda, you're next. Introduce yourself, your channel, what you like to read, what you're reading now.
Sure. Hello, I'm Anda. My YouTube is Anda Kent, and my channel is just all about horror. I've loved horror my entire life. It's mainly about movies, but I do books here and there and a lot of book hauls and things like that. But I always buy more books than I can read. Probably, I'm sure you guys can feel that. Never enough time. And I like to read a lot of I love like Greek mythology, and I love like Dante's Inferno, and I love like finding where horror started from. That's my jam. And then recently I've been reading a lot of true stories. So like, let me grab the book right here. This is the last book that I finished. It's called Harvest, the Horror or the True Story of Alien Abduction.
I watched
I just watched your video and that creeped me out.
Terrifying.
Oh my God.
I need that. I need it. I have to get that. That's on my list now. I love anything with aliens. Oh
Yeah. Yeah. Then you'll love it. It's very interesting. Like if it's true, absolutely terrifying. But and then I was reading I Am Legend, and I stopped to read this because I got this in the mail and it was just too intriguing. And then like you were talking about animals, I got to the part with a dog and I'm like, I'm not ready for this. Close the book. I'll come back.
So sad.
I Am Legend is one of my favorite books in life.
The film is just, I can't with that.
No, not the film. Not the film. But let me tell you, the book is not that scene that we're talking about is not as bad in the book. So don't worry about, what happens.
There's also the original film, The Last Man on Earth, and that has a scene with the dog too, and it I Am Legend is definitely more like Last Man on Earth than the remake.
Yeah.
Legend.
I still heard that I Am Legend is pretty devastating.
It's so sad. It is
Yeah.
so
It's
sad.
Marcy loves it.
You know what? A lot of people might find it boring because we're just following one character. He is the last man on Earth, surrounded by, you know, all these vampires, and so you feel his destitute, his loneliness, and that's what I love about it so much, because you can feel him through the pages.
All right, I might have to read it. I love the movie. I've only watched it once.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
Yes, me too.
Once is enough.
Yeah, for sure.
When he realizes that like the mannequin has been moved or something in the movie, that fucked me up though.
Right, I think you can. I think
Okay. Sorry.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, that messed me up.
It's very interesting because the vampires actually have like some form of community within
Yes.
them, and they like protect each other, which is not usually what we see with monster type movies.
Yes.
So it's interesting. I think that's a loss more in the novel, but in the film.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm a little nervous by I Am Legend only because I read Hell House and didn't really like it.
I didn't like Hell House either. I didn't like
Okay, see, we're on the same page.
People hated my book review on it because I said I didn't like it, and everyone ripped me apart because they were like, it was so good. And I was like, I'm sorry.
How? Where?
I'm sorry. It just wasn't good. I don't know.
Like that? I
haven't read that one. I own it, but I haven't read it yet. I loved I Am Legend so much that I'm like, I don't want to like taint my view of the author.
Yeah, I agree. It might ruin it. It might. It's a lot.
I read Stir of Echoes, and I was really disappointed because I love that film so much.
I love that film as well. I didn't even know it was a book.
Yeah, and the book is not
crazy.
like the movie at all. Like, it's not
It's
even
so
like a haunted ghost story. So I was disappointed, and then I felt guilty for being disappointed because he's like this phenomenal writer that everyone's obsessed with. So
Okay, if we're on like disappointments for the year, just real quick, I just want to put this in. Can I just say there was so much hype for me to read Salem's Lot, and I just hated it.
I actually didn't hate it.
I thought I would.
Yeah, I was like, people were hyping that up so much that when I actually read it, I was pretty disappointed because it's so standard.
Slow.
It's just a Dracula rewritten.
I haven't read it
right now, Marcy.
Marcy, did you love it? Is that why you're
reading it now?
No, I started it in January of this year, and this whole like baby scene happened, and I said,
yes,
nope.
The child
warning
for anyone who's considering reading the book. There is a child abuse scene that is so like I just like blew.
I was not ready.
Not ready.
I wanted to rip through the pages and rip her to shreds.
Yes.
And listen, so I am a part of a few like book Facebook groups, and I posted on it while I was halfway through the book, and I was like, guys, help me out. Like, is this what I'm supposed to be feeling? Is there going to be a payoff at the end? And everyone like ripped me apart. They were like, maybe you don't like Stephen King. And I'm like, excuse me, hang on. And everyone was just like, I just don't know how you could find it slow. It was so terrifying. And I'm like, to who? What to
I get that.
Yeah, I haven't finished it yet. It's still sitting there.
I did really enjoy it. I enjoyed I really like the main character. I was a little disappointed. Everyone just told me, and no one prepared me for that scene. Which
me neither.
No one told me that was going to happen. So
no one ever alluded to that.
What? No.
And it just like he just snuck it in there like it was nothing. And I was like, hang on.
And we were supposed to be like, oh, okay, this is happening. And I was just like, whoa, I need a second.
Yeah, I was pretty upset at that. I haven't finished it yet, so we'll see if I ever do.
That one part, I think that's like in like the first quarter of the book too.
Yeah. Well, I did continue after that. I was like, you know what? Let me just continue to give it a try. But as I continued, I don't think I got like really far after that scene. But it was just it bored me. I was like, what's going? And even the movie, I know everybody loves the movie, and the movie was a little better, but it's just boring to me.
I know. I was so disappointed. It really hurt me because I got the hype from people I trusted. And I was like,
The biggest betrayal ever.
You know, everybody likes something different, and
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't like this book? You must not. It's like, well, everyone has different tastes. I don't know.
Right.
yeah.
You don't have to like every single one of his books to be a
Exactly. And come on, like there's some weird stuff that goes on in some of his stories. Like it come on, like
Yes. Yes.
Oh my god, no, stop. It was just
right? Like he knocks them out of the park every time. Relax.
so weird. So I've seen the movies a million times, but I haven't read it. And I keep hearing that there's some crazy shit that goes on in there. And I'm
Wait, you guys don't like it? Who doesn't like it?
I love it.
There's just the weird stuff.
I
There's nothing
can't
about the
deal
weird.
with the sewer bit. I can't
Oh,
believe that was
It's a
allowed.
little
Like,
weird for 1,000 pages to read. Yeah.
I literally.
I love it. Yes.
I do love it.
I love
I
the
love the
movies
book.
more. The book it's too long for me. That's a big thing with Stephen King. I think he's very talented. I think he deserves all the recognition he gets. I think he's a king, literally, you know, of horror. But sometimes his books are just way too long for me, and I'm just like, I feel that
way.
want to read it anymore. I'm sorry.
That's why I generally do like a king a month. That's typically my plan, and I try to stick with that, but it doesn't it ends up like spacing it out sometimes. But it's because I'm like, am I prepared to like read this and just focus on it? Because a lot of the time, especially with all the characters, like usually you have to like
you have to be in the mood.
Yeah.
Well, I'm very curious. What's your favorite King book?
Oh my.
I think I'm at like 6 of his books so far. My favorite King is 11/22/63. Anyone who knows me will be like, yeah, that's her favorite.
It's
I
amazing.
talk about it way too much, but yes.
I keep hearing how excellent that book is, and I just need to.
It's so good. It's really good.
I
I haven't read it yet.
It's like it's not my favorite because I have a favorite, but I have to admit that is the most perfectly written book he's done.
Yeah.
For sure. Normally, I would not
written for sure. Lots of people will tell you that. It's
interesting.
I'm gonna have to get it now.
I'll have to get it as well, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I've read 35 of his books, and it's my favorite.
Girl, get it.
So you're an expert. We should take
I
that.
know.
We should read it. We should definitely read it.
I feel so bad like recommending it because, like, it's first of all the crazy stuff that people don't like, and then that really puts people off from it. And I don't want to justify what it is, but I get the reasoning for it. But it could have, he could have gotten there a different way. But, I just love the characters. I love how he just like puts you in Derry, and there's just so much to it. Like,
the world building is amazing.
But now I've read it like 3 times, and it just like I cried last time I read it.
Oh my gosh, me too. I sobbed when I read it. Like 10 tears coming out of each eye.
I wish I could not react.
For a week.
And I love that. I love like the King universe and how so much is connected.
Yeah.
And I feel like that makes it a lot of fun when you read a book, like especially if you're doing them kind of in chronological order or publication order, because then you can like start picking up on things, even if he's just like name dropping another town or a character or something that happened in another book. Like that's just fun to pick up on. And then like his Dark Tower all coinciding with everything.
Stephen King favorite. Is it?
Mine?
Yeah.
Mine's it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Can I just say that my favorite book ever is a Stephen King book, and it's also my favorite film, which is controversial, and I've got a tattoo of it, which is my dedication to this.
What is it?
So my favorite book ever is The Shining.
Yeah.
It's also my favorite film, which a lot of people don't agree because it's kind of like you either like the book or the film, but I literally love both.
I think they're both great.
I didn't like it.
I have a tattoo of the twins.
Oh, I love it.
That's
I had
awesome.
to put that in there.
Fantastic. My
That's
favorite has got to be Pet Cemetery. It's so well written.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Yeah,
so
that is a good
beautiful.
Very good.
And the character
favorite
development,
movie.
it's just fantastic.
Yes, I agree.
I haven't read Pet Cemetery. I need to.
Oh, it's so good.
It's pretty short as well. If you
Yeah,
don't like
that's why it's on my list because
Yeah.
I want one of the shorter.
That's why.
That's why I'm very
Do you like
I
Horrorin?
always recommend to people just starting to get into his books. That's the one I always recommend.
Yeah,
because
that was my first Stephen King book, and I didn't really know what to expect because I didn't watch the movie growing up, and it scared me more than I thought because I would fall asleep with it. So I'm very susceptible to having nightmares if I read the right thing. And it gave me nightmares for like 2 weeks. But I loved it because I was like, wow, this is a really great book.
right.
It's a good audiobook too. If you like audiobooks, Michael C. Hall narrates it.
Oh, yes.
He's just so good. So good.
Well, I'm gonna have to
Yes.
I read The Shining this year, and that is hands down one of the best things I've ever read.
I love
it.
I'm
3
very
times
excited. Sarah's reading it right now.
Yeah.
Now and
I get
loving
so
it.
excited because honestly, it's like it shaped my entire life because I
want to.
love to
You're
film.
not gonna like me.
Oh no!
Why you don't like it?
Oh no!
Oh my God. I was
I
just
don't know
about
why.
to rant about why I love it.
I don't know why. I mean, I didn't hate it, but to me, I guess because when I see the movie of a book, it really taints my reading experience. And because I hadn't seen the whole entire movie, I had seen pieces of it, and then reading it, I was like, okay, I know it's gonna happen, So it was like a little bit boring to me, and I hate that happened because so many people love The Shining, and then there's me. And
That's the same with me. I saw the 1990s The Haunting of Hill House movie with I don't remember who's in it. It's a bunch of actors that I don't care for. But then I went and read the book a few years ago, and I was like, this sucks.
I hate that book.
I hated it too.
I hate that book.
It's like Owen Wilson or something.
I love that book. It's got Owen Wilson, Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Yep.
I did not like it either. Did not like it either.
I tried reading The Haunting of Hill House, and I was like, what? This is nothing like any of the movies or renditions.
It's not, but I loved it. I don't know why. I'm
gonna have to try it again.
I had a great time when I read it. People are reading it now after watching the series, and they're thinking it's going to be like that, and they're not enjoying it. Which I'm kind of sad about because I was like, I read it a couple of years ago, or maybe even longer. I think it might have been like 3 or 4 years ago now, and it was way before the series came out, and I enjoyed it. So I was like, maybe you're just comparing too much because they're two completely different animals.
Yeah, you know what I find with Shirley Jackson is that if you like her, if you read one of her books and you like her, you like her. But I've already read 2 of her books, and I didn't like either one of them. So I think it's just her writing and her books. They're just not for me. So maybe that's what a lot of people will find because it's like her writing is an acquired taste.
True.
I read We Have Always Lived in This Castle.
Same.
And I loved that novel.
That's on my TBR.
It's almost weird. It feels like she's like holding something back from the reader, and that kept me intrigued the entire time. And it's like there's inside jokes between the writer and the characters and story that you don't quite get. I don't know. I really enjoyed it, but I haven't read the other novel.
I like that one.
So I have to say my favorite King book because I wasn't going to say anything. I was just going to whatever. But I have to because I feel like this book is just given up on a lot. And I almost gave up on it. But I am reading his work in chronological order.
Is it what I think it is? Is it what I think it is?
What is it?
Well, there's one book that I absolutely love by him that everyone says is rubbish, and I feel so sad about it because I love it so much. Is it Insomnia?
No, it's not.
Okay.
I haven't read that one yet, but I really want to read.
Everyone
she's chronologically, and I think she's on. You just read. Wait, did you just read Cujo?
Oh,
I
hate
passed
Cujo.
Cujo. Oh,
I hate it so much.
Cujo.
I've heard Cujo is scary, like genuinely.
I haven't.
No, it's not.
Oh, it's not.
Oh, no,
All the living daylights out of me.
What?
Where are you? Okay, what's your favorite?
okay. My favorite is Lizzie's Story. Now
Oh,
here,
yes, I love that one.
right?
Yes, that's my.
So
I haven't read that yet.
I read it with Joanne. She did a read along like a couple years ago, and I joined in, and we had like this whole chat room. Yeah.
Yes.
So we had like this whole chat room, and I was like by page 150 almost, and I'm like, okay, you guys, I'm about to give up. And she was like, don't give up, just continue. And I am so glad that I did. So if anybody out there has ever read Lizzie's Story and stopped, please continue. It gets better.
Bawled my eyes out.
Me too.
That must mean I have to read it.
It made me think of me and my husband so much, like just the love that they had for each other. I mean, it was a little crazy, but just the love that they had for each other, I related to it, and it was just so good. So read Lizzie's Story.
Is it a horror or one of his non-horror?
It's horror and fantasy put together. And yeah, it's a little bit of both.
Okay.
Does it have a Dark Tower connection?
Huh?
Does it have a Dark Tower connection? If it's fantasy?
No.
Oh, okay. I
don't think so. Does it?
I don't think so. Well, I never read Dark Tower, so I don't know if there were like references in there.
I don't think so.
I never want to like Google it or anything because then you just spoil yourself.
You get spoiled. Yeah. No, it doesn't.
Carol, I'm gonna have to
just
introduce yourself so we don't forget to introduce everybody. We're still halfway through, like getting to know people. I'm like, oh, I don't want to cut you guys off because we're having such great conversation. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'll go real quick then.
Yeah.
All right. My channel is Carol Marie Reads. I read basically everything except for like romance, classics, horror, fantasy, lots of mystery thrillers. I am also trying to do King publication order, with here and there just like jumping around a little bit. And I do mostly wrap-ups, like recent reads videos, because I have a kid and so I just need to film when I can. And then like TBRs, and I participate in readathons sometimes, and I've got one coming up with Marcy and Raine for Christmas, like a horror Christmas themed one. But yeah. So.
Yeah, I'll tell you guys all about that towards the end, but Marcy, Carol, and Sarah and I have like a really cool horror-themed Christmas readathon thing going on.
Can I just say that Christmas horror is probably my favorite subgenre of horror?
So fun. Yeah, so fun.
I am the biggest fan of Krampus. I love
Dude, I
Krampus.
love the film. And then I didn't get to finish the book last year because I read it for like a readathon and I never got to finish it, but I was really enjoying it. So my plan is to read Krampus.
It's so good.
Readathon. It's going to be a lot of fun.
And I just love like Christmas, like what is it? Like Black Christmas and Silent Night, Deadly Night. I don't know. I just love some Christmas horror. It's just
because it's so dark and cold and just delicious. Yes.
It's like they almost go hand in hand. It's like so underrated. I feel like people don't talk about it enough, but like Christmas has some creepy aspects that are just like not explored enough.
Yes.
Like we just
why is an old man coming into your house at night?
Yeah.
Exactly. You want to who else to sleep.
Exactly. Like that's not creepy enough. Erin, I'm gonna let you introduce yourself now.
Okay. Hi, I'm Erin. My channel is Erin Megan, and I do books/makeup. My channel is a combination of both. I do primarily Monday, Wednesdays makeup. Sometimes I throw in book videos or movie videos, and then Fridays I do book reviews. So I stick usually to the horror genre. Sometimes I do thrillers and mysteries. I've read a romance on my channel before, which was really random, but I had one that I was going to read and I just kind of like threw it in. I'll read pretty much anything, except for fantasy. I'm not a huge fan of fantasy. It just kind of, it's not, I don't know. I have to be really in the mood for fantasy if I'm going to read it, and I'm usually not in the mood. I'm more of a realistic kind of everything could happen to me if this was going to happen kind of thing. Right. So I try to stick to that kind of stuff, but I prefer the slasher and paranormal horror books. So that's usually my cup of tea. I love a good slasher. I grew up on slasher movies, so it's just kind of my thing.
What are you reading right now?
Right now, I just finished Uzumaki by Junji Ito. So I do read horror manga as well. I do love good anime and manga as well. And I'm a big Junji Ito fan. So I loved it. It was fantastic. Oh my God.
That book haunted me for days.
I can't look at snails.
Me neither. Oh my gosh, it ruined snails for me forever. Like snails are, oh my god, freaking me out now.
I hate them.
Can I just tell you a funny story real fast?
Yes, go for it.
I read Uzumaki really fast one night, and then I went to bed. And because I'm kind of an insomniac, I have a hard time falling asleep and staying asleep. And after I read Uzumaki, I was just like looking at my bedroom wall and just like trying to fall asleep. And for some reason, I saw a shadow, and I was like, "It's a fucking snail! It's a snail!" And then, like, after literally, I spent an hour frozen in terror in my bed, just staring at this shadow. And then I moved slightly. It was just my pillow, the shadow of my pillow. And I was like, "Okay, I guess I can go to sleep now."
Oh my god! Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, it's just like can't.
Yeah, no, never again. Spirals now, I'm terrified. Terrified of spirals. I look for them. Literally told my boyfriend if I see one, I'm gonna freak out.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Same way. I'm like, I already thought snails were like gross, but like now I'm just like really put off by them. Just the thought of them like immediately makes me like Uzumaki. It's just crazy. Like I want to read. I read Uzumaki. I think it was August or September. I want to say August. It was during Gabby's Summerween thing, and I read. I would read some of it each night before bed during the readathon, and I would just loved it. I loved it so much, and I want to read his other works. And it made me look into horror manga as a genre, like because I found like a few. One was like called The Drifting Classroom. I don't know, but it just sounded really creepy, and I want to read it now. So like now horror manga is kind of a genre that I want to like try out, and it's all because of Uzumaki. So
have you read the one about his cats? Because I can't cope with it. So cute.
No,
I have it, but I haven't read it yet.
So cute, and it's so accurate with how cats just are. I definitely
really. That's so cute.
This live show is gonna tear my wallet up.
I know. You're getting great ideas. I know. Relate.
Oh, you're back.
I was getting nervous. I was like, I have so many questions for her. She better come back because I haven't got to my questions yet. Sorry. Holly, go ahead and introduce yourself, and then we can get on to like. I mean, we're having great conversation. I don't have to get to my questions, but I do have a few questions for you guys.
Okay, so I am Holly. If you've noticed, I'm the only one who's from England in this by my accent.
If you know.
And my channel is Spoopy Hall, and my name on Bookstagram is Spoopy Hall, and that's how Spoops became my name. And I don't know, I just always refer to myself as that now rather than Holly. But Holly is my actual name. I started off reading like only horror, and it's only through like the bookish community on the internet that I started branching out. And I actually read like a lot of literary fiction now. Like I was saying earlier, if a book is going to destroy me, I'll want to pick it up. So they're the kind of books that I like to read. And I guess that translates into the horror as well, because I like psychological horrors and like stuff to do with people. I like reading about people. So yeah, it's kind of like leaked into other genres as well. Like because I like stuff about people in horror, I've started picking up like literary fiction at the same time. So yeah, and I'm reading because I was in a big slump, a massive slump. So I did, like we were talking about earlier, I did pick up a thriller, and I'm now reading Leave the World Behind.
Oh, is that short thriller? Is that the
Book of the Month one that's like blue?
Yeah, my copy is pink, but there is a blue.
Her copy is going to be probably different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it the Book of the Month selection one?
Yes.
Or am I thinking of something else?
Yes, it's that one.
Oh, okay.
I think it's by
really
Rumaan Alam or Rumaan something.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
But it's actually helping me because the writing's really easy to read, and if I'm in a slump, then I have to pick up a book where the writing's pretty easy to read. So yeah, that's what I'm reading right now. Yes. And I'm enjoying it. It's really easy to read, and I'm really enjoying it.
I've heard great things about that book. That's why I got it, because everybody raves about it.
That'd be a great book for a slump, because I've heard it's really short.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty short.
What is it about exactly? Because
it's a thriller where this family goes on holiday to like a remote cabin, and I haven't read it all, so I can't really say how it ends or anything, but this two people who own the house that they've rented, they come knocking on the door because they think something's happened in the city where they actually live. They say that it's a blackout, but I've got the vibes that it's something else. So the people who have rented the holiday home are like, oh my god, do we let them in? I mean, they technically own the house, we should let them in, but they kind of think maybe they're intruders, or they might not be who they say they are.
So it's not like Cabin at the End of the World vibes.
Yeah, a little bit. I'm getting Get Out vibes, because the family who rented the home, they're a white family, and the people who come knocking on the door saying we need help, they're a black family, and it's playing on like the racial stereotypes of
so they're just like, we don't trust them.
So yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. I think it's going places, so we'll see if it gets there yet.
If somebody would have told me that, I would have been like, okay, I'll pick that as my book of the month. But I ended up picking like Magic Lessons by Alice Hoffman, because I got
that one too.
And then I got Ties That Tether, just because obviously the cover was bomb, and then I was like, that would be perfect for summertime, and I just couldn't say no because it's book of the month and it's going to be like beautiful. So I was like, I better get it while I can get it now at like a discounted price. But like, I probably would have added a third book to that.
I always add the maximum amount. I'm such an animal.
It's really hard not to. It's really, really hard not to. So, okay, I'm going to start off with just a few little questions. Nothing too crazy. I'm not going to like drill you guys like I said before. But I do have some questions for each of you girls, because I want to get to know you guys better. I already cheated with Holly, because I told you guys this in the chat. I've been following Holly since her channel first started. Like, we've been following each other on Bookstagram for a long time. So we've done read-alongs together and things like that. But I've never gotten to talk to you in person. So I'm like, really excited about it. But I was there when you first started your channel. We were reading My Best Friend's Exorcism together.
We were.
Yeah. I don't know if any of you guys have read it yet, but it's so good.
It's really good.
It's so really good. And everyone, like, she was like, I'm thinking about starting a channel. I had mine for a month. I was really new. I was like, do it. Why not? It's fun. And then everyone else was like hyping her up. They're like, yes, you got to do it. You'd be so good. And you made your first video, and it was a makeup look. It was like not a makeup look, but well, I guess it was a makeup look, but it was like you did like the full face to match your book cover.
Nice.
Yeah. It was so cool, and it was so fun, and you're just hilarious. And like, how do you feel now? Like, you've had your channel, what, 9-10 months, like something, about almost a year, like I have. Mm-hmm. How do you feel now? Like, do you feel like, oh man, I should have done that a long time ago? Because I know I feel
I was thinking this actually because all of the people that you see who are like securely cemented into the booktube community, they've been doing it for years, and I didn't even know it was I didn't even know it was a thing until this year. I didn't know that people on YouTube made videos about books. Otherwise, I would have done it ages ago.
Right?
Yeah, and I'm having the best time. I did take some, like, I started in February, I think, and then I took like a month off because I was working full time, and this was before I was working from home, so I was like in the office 5 days a week, and it's hard to keep the energy up. But now I'm working from home. I'm like producing content more. I'm like, oh my god, can this just be like my job?
It's so much fun, isn't it?
Fun. It is so fun.
I just love your videos, like the whole, like you do the full-on special effects like type. I'm just like, oh my gosh, seeing where you came from, because you didn't do that as much on your Bookstagram, a little bit, but not to the extent that you do now. Like what you were posting, like a look a day throughout October. Oh my gosh,
that actually killed me. It was so exhausting.
Immaculate. They were so cool. That's so awesome. Is that something that you want to do?
Yeah, it's weird because, like, obviously books, as we all probably are here, books are like my hobby. Books are like just what I do in my spare time. But I never really thought about makeup as a hobby because I always just like put it on my face and then that was it. And then whenever Halloween comes around, I'm always like, okay, I need to do some Halloween looks because it's Halloween and it's fun. So I did do Halloween looks each year that I've been on Bookstagram, but they were like far and few between at the beginning. And then this year I tried to do one every day. I didn't actually end up doing 31 looks, but I got pretty close. And yeah, it's weird thinking that you can have more than one hobby. That sounds stupid, but like you only think like, oh, books are my thing. And then you find something else that you enjoy doing. It's like, well, maybe I can like combine the two.
Right. And you did. That was so cool. Like your very first video was really awesome. Everybody loved it. I feel like I'm like, people need to know about Holly because you put a lot of work into it. It's so cool. And your Instagram's doing great. Like it's been doing, like you've been gaining a lot of, like a huge following since I started following you, I think 2 years ago or something. So
yeah, we've been following each other for a while, I feel like.
Yeah, we really
I don't think I could pinpoint when because it gets like all mushed into one when you've had it for such a long time.
Pretty much. Like, because I started my Bookstagram maybe like 3 or 4 years ago, and then I was like almost immediately like I was following you and Marcy, and then like we started reading books together. I think like Joanne has a lot to do with that too.
Yeah.
That's so cool. That's so awesome. Do you I don't know about like you other girls, like did you guys start off with Bookstagram or did you jump right into like Booktube stuff? Like when did you guys find out about Booktube initially?
You know, I used to do makeup videos like 8 years ago, and then I was really heavy in the makeup. But Holly, me and you, we got to connect because I'm sure you got a lot of makeup like me, so we can, you know, check each other's stash out.
Aaron too.
For sure. Yeah, Aaron was talking about it. Yeah.
Yeah,
we need to form a super group of makeup.
And so I love it so much, but then I sort of like fell out and I started like really going into the other realms of YouTube, and I found this like book community on YouTube first, and then I saw that they were on Instagram, and I'm like, wait. So I stopped doing the makeup on YouTube, and then I went to Instagram, and I've been there, I think I've been there 4 or 5 years by now. And I think it was a year or two after Instagram, I started doing Booktube. But when I started doing Booktube, it was like 3 years ago. And I would go like 5 months without uploading. And then recently, like when you started uploading, Raine, I started, I had just started re-uploading or uploading more frequently.
Yeah.
But I just love the YouTube world. Yeah.
Well, I think the live shows have helped a lot because I have a hard time like dedicating time to making videos, but I can dedicate like a little bit of time to just like let's just get go live, because it's always it's just a nice little me time where I just get to do
social time. It's our social.
It really is, because I don't get to socialize, and I don't have a lot of like-minded people around me that read and stuff. So
Same.
It's great having this.
Same.
Community. And especially now that I'm dipping more into the horror community of BookTube, because I'm these are my people. These are the people I've been looking for. So I'm so
You
excited.
guys are gonna
Jay,
laugh.
especially, I saw your videos immediately just struck me. You were kind of the idea of, you were why I decided to do this live video, this live thing, because I love, you have the whole aesthetic, the Halloween aesthetic, you got the music. I was
Oh my gosh.
People should know about her and the horror community. I'm why is she not bigger than she is? Because I just absolutely was immediately drawn to your videos.
Well, that's very sweet. And it's crazy is that I have been technically on my channel for a little over a year, maybe almost close to 2 years, because I am one of those people that is a serial hobbyist. I will find something and I'll latch on real hard, and then I'll burn out real fast.
I've done that before, yes.
Yeah. And when I started on YouTube, I actually started doing mukbangs. Where I just what I like to eat.
Same.
And so I started that, and it's not very sustainable, at least for a normal person's stomach. But it was a lot of fun, and it was a way to talk about horror movies, because not many people that I knew were super into horror movies, and I would spend hours watching them and analyzing them, and I had literally no one to talk to. And so I got on YouTube and I was all right, I'm just gonna eat a bunch of ramen and talk to my camera. And then that got kind of weird after a while, digestive wise. And then I was whoa, books. No one, I didn't know this existed until 8 months ago.
I love it. I love your most recent video where you brought up female fronted horror movies. I have a whole list now. This is what I want to watch. You mentioned The Witch and how it relates to Gretel and Hansel, and I was I have to watch Gretel and Hansel now, because The Witch is one of my favorite horror movies. I love that one.
Oh my God, it's so good. I watch it every year at least.
It's so good. So
Can I just say,
I feel people talk about it now.
I did a film degree, so I totally understand you not having anyone to talk about films with, because I did a film degree and I graduated, and now I have no one to talk about films with, because I'm not on that course anymore.
Yes, I feel you. I was a history major, so I spent a lot of time reading and analyzing, and I don't do anything with that in my real full-time job. So
does anyone?
Yeah,
I'm just a fancy. I mean, it's an expensive piece of paper collecting dust.
Yep.
100%. If anything, I got my history degree so I can review books on YouTube.
Historical fiction. That's what you should read.
Right.
What are your I'm curious to know, Jay, are you have to leave soon, right?
I've got a bit, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay. I wanted to make sure I wasn't forcing you to stay on here if you have to be anyway. Okay. I did want to know what your favorite female horror authors are, because
so
video, I was immediately I have to ask her what her favorite, because I need a list. I need to make a list right now, so I'm ready.
I'm not.
I have my great
more suggestions.
I don't have a list of female horror authors, because I'm still so new to the horror genre. I'm still discovering. But I did read, I think early last year, The Good House by Tananarive Due.
Tananarive Due. I read that recently as well. I did. I think
was blown away.
You read that too, haven't you?
Huh?
Have you read that, Marcy?
No, I'm reading the In Between.
Who else has read that? Is it
I DNF'd it.
somebody I know on Booktubers has actually read that. No, I think it was.
It was excellent. It was just, my favorite, probably one of my favorite horror genres is anything to do with like a haunted house or haunted property. Mm-hmm. And that book, yes, girl, you know. and it's just, I guess I haven't read a whole lot of female horror authors. Mm. I don't know, but I guess it's a very male-dominated atmosphere, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. And then I think we talked about this a little bit, like before we went live, was that like you realize that there's other horror authors out there besides Stephen King. Once you actually start getting into the horror genre, it's just like he's kind of like the face of horror. But there are so many great horror authors out there, especially like even like female horror authors. That kind of like, I'm going to segue a little bit, but Anda, you are an author yourself.
Yes,
really? Yes.
That's super cool.
Yeah, so that's actually why I started my YouTube channel, was because I got my degree in creative writing, and my now husband told me, you have to like be social and like gain confidence and let people do your work. And I was very nervous at first. So I started my channel to try to gain some confidence. And then I ended up doing a podcast where I have just a few of my stories on there. It's called The Tantalus Feast. And I think I only have like 6 or 7, but it's crazy to see people read your work, and like download your stories. And then I'm getting comments of people like, oh, I love this story, or can you tell me your process for writing this? It's pretty crazy.
Oh, do you have like a website or something?
Yeah.
Or
let me know so I can.
I was working on a website, but I never launched it, if I'm completely honest. I'm just doing it through the podcast right now, and then on my YouTube channel, I think I've only read one of my stories so far. Yeah, but I've been writing horror since 3rd grade. Like in 4th grade, class, and mine was about how all my friends got murdered and then came back as ghosts, and my teacher was like,
How old are you in 3rd grade? Because we don't do school like that over here.
Like
9.
Like 9 or like 8 or 9, I think.
Okay, cool.
Something like that.
Pretty young. Too young to be writing horror, probably.
How do you feel like about writing horror? Do you feel like it's hard to come up with like new ideas? I always wonder that about authors and even like people who make films and stuff. I'm like, how do they come up with like new ideas? Like
everything is already written
here at all.
I mean, like I just constantly have things floating around my head, and it's kind of like a puzzle where I'll get a piece and it just kind of sits in there, and then however long later, a day, a month, a year, something else comes, and all of a sudden they connect together and I start to see what it is. So it's not an easy process by any means, and I definitely should do it more. And I finished the first draft of a novel recently, and so I really have to get back and like get onto it and work and finish it. So I'm trying to do that, but it's hard with everything else.
Yeah. I've tried to write a book 3 times now, and I've just stopped and not gone back to it. So it is hard.
It's very hard. Yeah. And you see so many books and you're like, how does these people do it?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Crazy.
I honestly have tried writing something like 15 million times, and I get to like a certain page count and I'm just like, I
prefer short stories. That's like, I mean, in my degree, that's all I wrote were short stories. So I do have like a big backlog of short stories. And the novel is more difficult because with the short story, you have to be more mindful and pick every single word matters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in a novel, you have to have, situations or conversations that push along the plot. And that's challenging for me because I'm like, this sentence doesn't need to be here, but it does. And so I'm having a little bit of trouble.
All right, ladies, I have to head out. So
yes. It was so nice meeting you.
It was nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you.
Hi, thank you. That was one thing that I wanted to touch on was just people ask me all the time, like, oh, because you like to read books, do you want to be a writer? And I'm just like, I could not ever. I could never. I would have no ideas, nothing.
I can't even write a review, a sentence.
Straight up. That's
so
why I switched from Bookstagram to Booktube, because I got tired of writing reviews. I'm not a writer. I don't know what I'm. No,
I like
I'd rather speak my thoughts.
Yeah, I'll like put a quote on Bookstagram or something. Like, this was cool.
Even if she puts like her son, she puts like an emoji.
Exactly. So we were talking about makeup and stuff. Marcy, you got to hook up with Erin, because she's got the whole, oh my goodness. Okay, for one, the wings, how do you make them match? Like,
practice, lots of practice. You just have to stare at that mirror, erase it, redo it, erase it, redo it.
I don't have the time.
Exactly. I redo it so many times before it looks like it does on Instagram.
Oh,
so.
it looks so good. Your makeup looks are so beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
I'm like, oh my gosh, you have like, how much makeup do you have? Probably like a ton.
Oh yes.
Was your channel initially a makeup channel, or was it a book channel, or did you just jump in with both?
Actually, I jumped in with both. So I love makeup. I've loved makeup for a very long time, and I love books. Obviously, I've loved them both for a very, very long amount of time. And my boyfriend actually told me, well, why don't you just do both? Why don't you just have dedicated times for each time, like on your channel? So that's why I do. It depends on the week if I'm feeling like more or less, but usually 2-ish videos of makeup, 1 book video. Sometimes I do 2 book related videos, 1 makeup video. Just how I feel. But yeah, I just kind of jumped in with both, and that's how it was for pretty much my Instagram as well. I decided to do my makeup looks on Instagram and then just post about books that I was reading at the time, and then I would film them on YouTube. So that's pretty much what I did. I just kind of dived in for both of them. So now I'm a combination.
We definitely have like Marcy as a subscriber, because she's like the same. Well, I don't know, Marcy, I think you just, your skin, like the way you do makeup, you would just like love Erin. I recently watched your review on the October Boys, and I was so glad that you hated it too, because I DNF'd it, and I'm glad that I DNF'd it because you hated it.
Okay, I'm so glad someone else hates it, because I was reading this book, and I was like, someone's gonna hate me. Someone's going to hate me for saying that I hate this book, because I made it my last book. I was like, ooh, my last book for Halloween. It's going up on Halloween. Perfect. I love the cover's beautiful. I was like, it sounds right up my alley. I started reading it and I went, oh my God, I hate this. And I was like, people are going to hate me because I'm going to literally tell people I hate this book. And I felt so awful.
No, you were just like, I don't want to just like bash this book. I don't want to be mean, but I was just like, girl, be mean. Because it's not, I hate, like, and you were so right. Like the female characters were written so poorly to me when I, like everything you said in that video, I was like, if I could just repeat this in my own wrap up, that'd be great. Because it was like all my same thoughts. I did not like the way that he wrote the female characters. They sounded very kind of like whiny and like annoying. Like, and it wasn't like I hated their characters. It was like he wrote them to be hated. Hated. Yeah. And
I feel like it's a big problem in the horror genre is the female representation. I see it quite a lot.
Yeah. I'm editing my October wrap up that I filmed like 2 weeks ago. And I had actually filmed a October Boys reading vlog. I started off my month with October Boys and I gave it 2 stars as well. And the vlog is not going to make it up because it was just a mess. And I was super disappointed by that book as well. And I say it in my wrap up. I'm like, I'm not uploading that vlog, but I was disappointed and it just sucked.
It was bad. The characters, literally all of them are unlikable. Like you don't even like them. Like none of them.
And you know what? And I say in my wrap up, maybe I should. You know what? Still watch my wrap up, guys. Okay, I know I'm spilling all the beans here. I just subscribed to Aaron like a little bit ago, so I'll go watch the video when we're done. But I say in the video how the minute that it made me think of it just lost its chemistry for me. Like when you love a book so much and then this other book is trying.
On that too. She's like it. They even call it.
They literally call the entity it, like capital IT, and I'm like,
ooh,
what are you trying to be? Yeah.
Like, the minute that it did that, the minute that I felt those it vibes, I was like, oh, come on, really? And it just lost the chemistry for me. And then when we got to like the main part of it, I was just like, really? This is what we're doing?
I completely agree. It was honestly a ripoff of it. I honestly wanted to like it. An ice cream man, an evil ice cream man, come on. That sounds great. But you just copied it. Like you copied the book in a shorter format, but not very well. So
no.
Do you know what else really feels like it's copied it? The Chalk Man by C.J. Tudor.
That's on
I like that one.
I haven't read it, but
the friendship group, it has like a chubby boy, it has the token girl. It just feels like the friendship group is taken from it.
I think that's what happened with that one because all her books are like that. I mean, not all of them are like it, but
I've heard that.
Yeah, because even if I told you what, is it The Hiding Place?
Yeah, The Hiding Place.
Even if I said, hey, this is like this Stephen King book, that's a spoiler. So I think she is, and I know I've seen her drop things in books. I don't remember specifically, but like little hints at like, obviously she's a King fan because she'll drop things in there. But each one of her books seems to be a retelling. I don't know if that's like the right word. But like,
I've heard that. Is it the Taking of Annie Thorne?
Which is
or something like that.
That's The Hiding Place. Yeah,
is that okay?
So when I read The Chalk Man, I hadn't read it yet. So I didn't see the book like that. I didn't know. I mean, I knew about it, but I hadn't seen the movies. I hadn't read the books. So I had a really good experience with The Chalk Man. And then by the time that I read it, it was like a year later, and I just didn't put the two together.
Same. That's how I felt too. That's how I felt because I hadn't read them around the same time. So The Chalk Man I actually really liked, and I thought it was similar. I can see why people make the similarities for sure. But man, with the October Boys, it's like word for word copying almost. It's like I don't understand.
I haven't read it, but I was so annoyed with that book. And I got like 65% or 70%, and I DNF'd it.
I don't blame you
because I was like, no, I'm not going to give this any more.
I had the want to do that too. I just finished it because I was vlogging it again, but I don't even know why.
The ending wasn't worth anything, honestly. The ending is so abrupt. It's like there was they didn't even know how to end it. They just randomly ended it. It's so abrupt that I just closed it like, what was the point of this? Like, what was the point? So you didn't miss anything with the ending. It was trash.
Usually when I DNF, like even sometimes when I DNF a book, I will read the ending because I'm like, I have to know no matter what. I need to know what's going to happen in the end, even though I'm never going to read this book. That one, I honestly did not care so much to where I never even looked it up. Yeah. I never looked it up. Now that you mentioned the ending, I'm like, oh, I never cared.
Like, no, you're good. Totally good. It wasn't great.
Research what happened. So I guess it's not worth it. And I'm glad that I DNF'd it. I'm kind of sad because I've DNF'd a lot of books lately, and we were talking about like reading slumps, especially around the holidays and stuff. And I've been DNFing books left and right. I never did introduce myself, but we're on my channel, so I just realized that I never did. But you know who I am by now. And if you don't, then my name is Raine, and I typically read horror, thrillers. I do dip into some fantasy every once in a while. I love graphic novels, manga, all that jazz. But I have been DNFing books a lot lately. Currently, I am participating in, well, I'm hosting a, it's called ChristmasAThon, but it's a true crime themed readathon with my friends Deja and Kat. And I actually DNF'd another book that was on that readathon, and it's like a true crime book, but the book, it's called Madness Sex Serial Killer, I think is what it's called. And it's basically the author just pretty much advertising his TV show. Like, he's not even really, like, he in the book, I'm not going to go into full details because if you watch the episode, you'll know. And I'm like, why am I reading this? What? So I DNF that, like, at like 60 pages. So right now I'm going back to reading Mexican Gothic, which I started right before the readathon. I
need to read that.
I do too. I haven't read it.
And I'm enjoying it very much. It's definitely giving me vibes of, and I've heard this, and I don't know if you guys know for sure because I haven't gotten the answers, but I'm getting like the Yellow Wallpaper vibes. I don't know if you've ever read that, but it gives me those
What
vibes.
is that?
I love the Yellow
It's a
Wallpaper.
short story. I love that short story. So, but I don't
Where
know.
do I find it?
It's a
probably anywhere.
Charlotte Perkins Gilliam.
I think you can actually find it online if you just search it. I think there's like a PDF that you can
very
just
short. Yeah. You could read it in no time. But it's
I will read it and then I'll let you know because I read I don't know why I want to always say Mexican Gothic. Every time I've had to edit my videos because I always like Mexican Gothic. I don't know why. But I read it, so I'll read this and then I'll let you know.
It definitely is. Or the Yellow Wallpaper and Rebecca.
Rebecca.
I really want to read Rebecca.
I really want to read Rebecca.
They have, like, the series, like, is it a series or a movie?
It's a series. It's a series?
I thought it was a movie.
I thought it was a movie too.
Oh, it's a movie. It's a movie.
I want to read. I have it on my shelf. So
I've had it for so long, and it's embarrassing that I've not read it yet. I've had it for so long.
It's so predictable, but it's so good.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm excited. I'll have it on my shelf. And I've been planning to read it, especially since I heard they announced that adaptation. So it's out already. I'm like, I should have read it already.
Listen to the audiobook. The audiobook is so atmospheric and yes. Oh, I loved the audiobook so much.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna check that out then. Aaron, I totally forgot to mention too. I did also watch the video where you did your boyfriend's makeup. This is a lot of fun. I'm so like just shocked that he let you do that. My husband has not been in like any one of my videos, perhaps in the background at some point in a vlog, but he's just definitely not one to want to be on camera or anything. So I don't.
Brad is in a lot of mine.
Huh? Yeah, your boyfriend, he's just always there.
He likes to steal the show, that's why. Such a
It was actually my boyfriend suggested to do his makeup. He was like, why don't you just do a video where you do my makeup? He was like,
that's
just
awesome.
make
You
it on.
suggested it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
And I was like, seriously? And he was like, yeah,
that.
why not? And I was like, you want to go on camera in front of the people that are going to see it with makeup on you? And he was like, yeah. Why not? Okay. And then I was like, can I take pictures of you? And he was like, oh, yeah, sure. I was like...
I think I had my channel for over a year before my husband even knew.
You didn't know? Oh, my husband knew immediately because I was like, you got to take the baby because I need a moment to myself.
Yeah, how old is the baby?
My daughter is a year old, and I think Carol's son is, my daughter's a year and 2 months. Carol's son, I think, he's like a month younger.
Yeah, 13 and a half months.
Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah.
They're about the same age. It's really
My
cool.
baby is 19.
Yeah, her baby is-
Oh.
Oh, I love it. It's
19
just like,
years old.
I don't even know why I didn't even do the math either, Marcy, when you said how old you were, because I was just like, yeah,
You're like, she's 20, has a 19-year-old.
Yeah. Oh, she's 30. Has I don't know why I didn't even think about that. So funny. I started my channel. My daughter was 4 months old, and I was just, I was having a hard time because it's stressful. It's very stressful, and I felt like I lost myself. And it was just sad. It sucked, and I just wanted. And it wasn't that I wasn't happy to have her. I was so happy. Obviously, I was in love. It's just amazing, and it's awesome being a parent. But at the same time, I really wanted something for me, and I was like, I've been talking about starting my channel for a long time because I had a Bookstagram for a while, but I had knew about Booktube already. But I was like, if I start a Bookstagram, I don't have to show my face. I can just talk about books and not be as personal about it. I was really nervous. My self-confidence was not there. So I started my Bookstagram initially, and then I had talked about doing Booktube for a really long time, and then it wasn't until I had my daughter, which was I was more busy than ever. I don't know why.
Oh, that's insane. Start a channel and have a newborn? That's crazy.
And I just was like, I'm going to do it because I really need this.
Yeah.
And it helped. It's helped a lot just having this. And I mean, I maybe post once a week, maybe. And I'm just so, I love it. Because I have a moment to myself, and then I'm just I'm meeting new people all the time, especially in the horror genre. I definitely feel like that's a genre that's being explored a little more now. Don't you guys think? I feel the big genre right now is obviously, I feel like, is romance. I've seen a lot more people picking up romance lately. But I feel
it's always been
getting there. It's getting to its time where it might be people who don't even typically read horror are starting to read horror books and talk about them.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking is a lot of the bigger all of a sudden are reading them, and it's not oh, wait a minute, I've always liked horror, and growing up watching the scary stuff, my parents had me watching Tales from the Crypt Keeper, X-Files, my favorite show of all time. I grew up on that stuff, and then my parents would be why are you having nightmares? And it's but it was always kind of I was weird for liking that stuff.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
The nerd, and you weren't cool and everything. And so even getting on Booktube, it took me a while to find people who are reading horror. Yeah. Because
I'm still finding people because I went onto Twitter because I didn't know how any of this worked, and it seemed like YouTube and Twitter are very connected. Yeah. And the people who followed me and who I follow, they are big fantasy people, and like I said earlier, I don't read it, so I need to find some horror people so I have someone who I can relate to.
It's definitely growing. Or I mean, it's easier to find because bigger booktubers are reading that stuff now, which is good because I think it leads you into the rabbit hole of finding even more people. Yeah. So.
For sure. And then you realize, because at first it feels like everyone just kind of starts to dip into Stephen King. And then once they start to explore horror more, they're finding other authors like Anya Alborn and Keelan Patrick Burke. And there's so many great horror authors out there that are just not talked about enough because you have Stephen King kind of just takes over, there's other people. Yeah. There are other people. I mean, you do have the other older names like Richard Matheson and stuff, but
Raine, do you not keep your books by genre? Because I see you looking all around.
Dude, it's by color because I did that one day. And I even though I said this isn't going to be very functional, I haven't had time to rearrange. Marcy, you can come fly over here and just read.
Yes, I want to play with books. I'm telling you, when I got my 2 new shelves, which are these, these over here, I must have taken the books off my shelf and put them back on. I'm not kidding you guys, about 9 times. And I was in heaven. People always complaining, and I'm with my music. I love it.
I've been like I've been talking to you guys. I've just been like so into what you guys are saying. I haven't had a moment to look at the chat at all.
Oh, I know.
Everyone in the chat, and I'm like, I'm very bad at multitasking. That's one thing you should know. But I like if you guys in the chat, if you have any questions for the girls, go ahead and throw them out here because I think I might be out of my questions.
I want to know, I know already what Holly's is, but I want to know everybody's favorite book.
Ooh,
all time?
Of
Oh my
all
God,
time. I am putting you out there.
I think I'd probably still say 11/22/63. It's fantastic. It's so good.
I have to read it.
Same.
It's really good.
I don't think that's always the one that immediately comes to mind when someone asks.
Come on, Carol.
No.
She's gonna say it.
He refuses.
She's like, no.
That is so hard because
Fine, your top 3.
Oh my, that's even harder.
because like don't you have like because I'm a fantasy reader, I have so many like series where there's so many books in them where it's almost like melded so much together that you can't even like pry one separate book out and be like, this is the one.
Yeah.
I guess Wuthering Heights.
Okay.
That's been on my TBR forever as well.
Mine too.
Nevernight by J. Kristoff.
I haven't read that yet, but that is on my. It's been on my TBR for years.
I haven't read that one, and what throws me off.
Everyone that reads it loves it.
What throws me off is that I hear people that say that it has those footnotes thing, and I don't have time for that. Like,
as long as you, I don't know how it works in an audiobook if there's footnotes, but like you might be able to read the book without even reading the footnotes.
Oh, okay.
Because sometimes the footnotes are just like sly, like smart-ass comments.
Okay.
And some do build the world a little bit more, but I don't know if it's anything. Someone in the comments can correct me if they read it, but I don't know if there's anything that's really detrimental
to the story.
Yeah. Really?
Okay.
I never even heard about the footnotes. Now I'm intrigued. I had no
I don't know,
idea.
and I really like Robin Hobb, so I can't. I mean, like just one of her books.
I haven't read any of her books yet, and I really want to.
They look big.
They are.
Every time I see them, they look.
They do not look small. Yeah, they look like a chore for sure.
And one of her series is like 16 books long, and they're all big.
What? Wow.
That's
Oh
like
no, I forgot to bring up. Oh my gosh, and I forgot because you took off, and then I was like, Anda, we have to talk about your horror wedding.
Oh yes.
She had a horror wedding. You got married. Was it on Halloween?
On Halloween, yes.
Yeah.
In a haunted graveyard that my brother built.
Yes.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
And then
That's why I see pictures.
I had my best friend wear. Oh, you can maybe you can see this Michael Myers mask right here.
I'm in love with it. I need one of those.
Michael Myers.
Same.
Yeah, since our wedding, because we were supposed to get married this year, have like an actual wedding. I didn't want to. I always wanted to have like a small thing, but my husband was like very adamant about having a wedding. And so we had talked about maybe doing like one for me, a little one, and one for him. But weddings are so expensive. It was like, what's the point of that, you know?
Right. We don't want to have a big wedding, but we're going to have 2 weddings.
Exactly. And then when it got
I love it.
he was like, well, let's do your Halloween horror wedding this year. And then next year we'll do my wedding. And I was like, that's why I'm
so
married.
Cool.
Yeah.
And so where do I see pictures of this wedding?
There's a picture on my Instagram.
Okay.
And then I think there's like a little video on my YouTube channel as well.
Okay, I'm going to
just
check
like
it
one
out.
that I shittily put together.
It's so cool, though. It's so cool. I loved it.
That's so awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it was just what I wanted. A few people outside, all safe and you know, small.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah,
so great. Congratulations.
Yeah,
thank you.
It's awesome. It's so much more than just the wedding, you know. So like,
it really is.
Back and you're like,
Yeah.
how much money did I spend, or did we, you know?
Right.
Yeah, and then we still get the celebration next year of, you know, all of his friends and family. I'm still going to sneak some horror into that wedding too. My big one. I asked my now husband, I was like, oh, can we do some horror for the wedding? And he's like, if you have a Cenobite, come and marry us. My grandma's going to have a heart attack. I was like, all right, I'll put it on the Hellraiser.
We got married on Halloween in 2015, and we did like the typical like church wedding, and then like my husband's Christian, I'm like atheist, so that's very interesting. We did like the church wedding, and then we went to like a country club hall thing and did like the typical stuff. But we played like the Monster Mash and Love Potion Number 9 and This Is Halloween by Marilyn Manson. Like all the stuff.
Nice.
Walked into like, the reception to Thriller. We had like orange and black cupcakes. We did a trick or treat table as like the favors. So you can still do like the fancy wedding.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
We're in there.
That's awesome. I love that.
Well, I have like the box that let me actually grab it really quick.
Yeah.
The box that my fiance proposed with, he had my brother make this Hellraiser box.
That's
amazing. So that's how he proposed. And he was like, will you marry me? And I was like, oh my God, that box is amazing. And I was talking about the box. He's like, but like, will you marry me though? I'm like, oh yeah, but the box though.
Yeah, I guess.
You should have been there like, just because you have that box, yes.
Yeah, exactly. But I think we're going to have these maybe on the table because if you don't know Hellraiser, you don't know what this is, you know? It's not like anybody's going to be like, oh, this is weird.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool.
Oh, I love that. That is so awesome. I thought Marcy was going to cry for a second when she was like,
I almost did.
I she might cry. I love that. That's really, really cool. I didn't even know you got married on Halloween too. That's really awesome.
That's awesome.
My husband's glad because now we can't ever forget our anniversary. So
yeah, that's why I like it too. Yeah, it's always there. And my birthday's on a holiday too, so I don't have to remember everything.
There you go.
Here, Beth says, my partner thoroughly rejected a Halloween wedding, but he still otherwise spooky. That's cool.
Better than nothing.
Put some spooky stuff in. You can get it in there. You
better than nothing.
On our tables, you can still make it like Halloween.
Exactly.
I know. Like, I feel like I totally just like missed my chance. I don't know. We had like a really small thing as well, and it was years ago, but like I see like wedding ideas now that are just more like dark and
the black dress.
Oh yes, and I'm like, man,
can we get married again?
Yeah, let's renew those vows so I can have a witchy black wedding
or like a big gothic.
You have to invite me. Yes. You have to invite me because I've never been. First, I've only been to one wedding. Second of all, I never had a wedding. Like we went to Vegas and like got married, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to go to a Halloween wedding. So
no, now you can renew your vows and you can say, because we only went to Vegas, we have to do this.
There you go. There you go.
You have time. You can plan a wedding. Let's do it. I want to be there. That's so cool. See, now Holly and Aaron have some ideas just in case they do want to get married.
I've already told him we're going to have a Halloween wedding and we're going all out, and he's totally okay with it. So, yeah.
There you go.
Brad doesn't like horror, and horror things scare the living daylights out of him.
Yes, we need to do something about that.
Yeah, you don't want him crying at his own wedding.
Yeah, he will literally
probably doesn't show up because he's scared of the decoration or something.
Oh, Leilani said someday me and my wife will do a vow renewal with a horror theme.
Yeah.
The pictures, we want the video.
Yes.
We want to know.
Awesome.
Well, that's, like your partners and stuff don't like horror. Like my husband won't do, I think like possession type stuff. So do you guys have something that like reading or watching movies where you're like, no, I will not watch
like
that, or I can't handle it or something? Yeah, some kind of like subgenre that you don't like because it's too scary, or
mine's really specific. I specifically hate sirens, and I'll tell you why.
Oh, what?
my town, I live in a really old like market town in the countryside in England, and our flood siren, which is directly outside my window, our flood siren is an old World War II siren.
Oh,
I don't know if you know what they sound like, but they are horrifying. They are horrifying. So every time I like Silent Hill, cannot do that siren. Can't do that siren. So it's really specific, but like sirens just spook me out.
That sounds scary. I don't know.
At first, I thought you were like talking about mermaids.
Me too. Me too. I was like, man, I can't reveal my true self now.
No, they're cool. They're cool.
Mermaids are great.
I don't think I have anything. I have a weak stomach, but honestly, like gore doesn't really bother me. I really like cannibal movies and stuff like that, which is interesting because I got a weak stomach, but that doesn't bother me. I think the most is if like I don't like seeing dogs die. Like I cannot let a dog die. If it has a dog death and it's like a violent dog death, I will freak out. I don't like that.
I have a 3-year-old and hug my dogs and give them treats and calm myself down.
Yes, exactly. My 3-year-old pup is my world. She is my everything. She's my daughter. And when I see a dog death, all I see is her face, and I will sob just there. So I don't like dog deaths. If it's just like a bear, like the dog's, dead somewhere, I'm okay. But like if it's like a graphic, no, don't like that. Ugh.
No. Yeah. See, Savannah said possessions.
Possessions definitely freak me out, and I have the most, I think, of nightmares.
Yeah,
and then there's underwater stuff.
I can't do underwater stuff either. I forgot to mention that.
And then Leilani says no animal deaths here, which I'm right. Okay, I think that's probably my limit too.
Yeah,
mine. I can't watch anything or read anything with animal cruelty. That I can't, because I'll cry for weeks on end.
Have any of you read Tender is the Flesh?
Yes.
Not yet, but I want to.
It's on my list.
Yes.
That was hard.
People, because I thought I was weird in my video saying that I wanted to read that book. And people were like, whoa, gross. And I'm like,
but I'm confused. Is it not animal? Like, is it?
I was just saying that because there is an animal part, which is.
Go look at my review. I have it on Instagram and I have it on Goodreads because I talk about that. That's the longest review I have ever written in my entire life. And I just finished reading it a couple weeks ago or last week or something like that. But that one zoo scene, I was like, I skipped, I was crying. And then when he talks about, I'll tell you the page, Raine, because you can literally, you can skip over that and it won't do anything.
Yeah, it could have not been in there and the story would have been fine. I mean, I think they put it in for a shock factor because the whole book is shocking. The whole book is really shocking, but that one scene could have been left out.
Well, I think that the reason why they do it is because now realize that in this world, animals, they can't exist because they're all infected and they'll kill you. Yeah. And so I think it points to the desensitize the community. Kids and adults, they don't like animals because they fear them, because they fear they're going to die. And so I think that's the main reason why they put that there. But the other one that got me was when he's talking about his own pets. I was like, oh gosh, no.
I want to read it.
Man, I'm so nervous about that book now.
I'm nervous.
This is why I also talking to people. The books that I'm going to read.
No.
Otherwise, I wouldn't have been warned.
I promise you,
devastated.
I'll tell you the page number because I marked it, so you can skip it. But it is sad, but it's not. It doesn't deal with a lot of animals because the main focus is human meat.
Yeah. So, and I will say now, it is probably one of the most shocking endings I've ever read, and I did not see it coming. So yeah.
Me either.
I'm so
excited to read it. You need to read it.
It's on my list.
It's so short that you breeze through it. And I wrote in my review, I don't know if you guys saw it, but the author is an Argentinian author, and it's a translated book. And so I explained in my review how that's such a big deal because I'm half Argentinian and I was raised with that Argentinian flavor. I was raised with meat in my hand before I had teeth. And so it is a big deal for an Argentinian author to write this, being that meat is so prevalent in our culture. Yeah. So it hits hard.
This is why we should have had it as a book for the club. And I had thought about that, but I wasn't sure anyone would be interested in reading that one because it's a little, much for some. But
yeah, because we read Hollow Kingdom, and even that was rough for some of us. So.
Yeah, it was hard. The animal stuff. I think that's probably the hardest. Since we brought up just like what type of horror that we can or can't tolerate, have you all like read or consumed horror your whole lives?
Pretty much.
I touched on that a little bit, but I just wanted to.
Yeah.
The Shining was the film that I used to watch before I went to bed when I was a child. So yeah.
It's been a part of your life. Yeah. I am the oldest of 6. There's 6 of us. It's crazy, I know, right? But I'm the oldest, and my mom, she was a stay-at-home mom, and she always loved horror movies and things, but she was always too afraid to watch them alone. So I always
that's how I am. My mom introduced me to horror. We watched Halloween a lot growing up. I grew up on Michael Myers. He's my dude. My favorite slasher of all time. I watched that all the time, and I was probably watching it when I was about 4 or 5 with my mom.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like, and I feel like we were just kind of just into it. We're just like
into it. Oh, here we are.
Or you're just like terrified. My husband, I don't even think he ever had to watch horror. Like, that's probably a conversation I should have had with him by now. We've been together for 10 years, but I feel like because he hates horror. Like,
my husband does too. What about
his husband? They never watched it when they were young. Like, I read this whole article. I wish I had bookmarked it or something, but it was like, why you introduce horror to children. Why you let them see it or read it or whatever.
Okay, I need to read that because I'm like, my daughter is gonna have to. She's gonna have to.
My son has already seen Halloween. I mean, like, he's 1, so he's not like comprehending anything. But he watches scary shit all the time, and I'm not. Maybe when it comes to like sexual stuff, maybe I'll block him or whatever. But the whole article was like, it's a way to teach your kids like what is real and what's not, what to really be afraid of and not to be afraid of. Like, there's no boogeyman under your bed, but stranger danger is real. Like, but it might help them like cope, and also with like uncomfortable feelings and stuff. Like, it was like this whole article, and I was like,
wow.
Say no.
I wish my mom would have read that, because growing up, she would not allow me to read, watch anything. And I feel like when I did, when I grew up and when I was in high school, a little bit fresh out of high school, I stuck hard to horror. I mean, that's all I watched. I didn't read it because there was points in my life where I didn't read. And so I watched a lot of horror movies. And so now that I got into reading and stuff, my mom is like real Christian. She wasn't before when I was growing up, and now she is. She's real Christian. And whenever she sees me reading all this horror, she looks at my books and my skull decorations, she's just like very creeped out. And I'm just like, and I'm Christian too, but I love horror, and I wish she would have raised me with horror, because
stigma like that. If you like horror, that automatically you're just like you don't really work with the devil or something. You know what I mean?
Satanism, that kind of thing.
Yeah. And I feel like I wouldn't have been, because when I started watching horror, like when I was little, that I would like glimpse something horror, I would not sleep for weeks. And I feel like that made it worse for me. And so then when I started watching horror, I was like, 18 years old, and I would watch it, and I would make my daughter's father walk with me to the bathroom at 3 a.m. because I was crying. I couldn't.
But you
Yeah.
still did it.
I feel that.
Had you with your daughter Marcy, did you expose her pretty young to like horror and everything?
I didn't, but I have now. You know, like halfway, I was like,
She
wait a
into
second. I'm like, what am I doing? And so, yeah, I started exposing her, and she's pretty, like, she could watch anything. Nothing affects her. Nothing gets her scared, unless it's something like in a horror movie, like, for example, in the Walking Dead, when it deals with the mom dying, she loses it, and that freaks her out. But other than that, she's pretty tough, and I think it's because I've introduced that to her at a younger age.
Yeah, for sure. Leilani says, my wife will watch it, but it isn't her favorite, but she's going to let us name our future daughter Samara.
That's
so cute.
I love that.
My husband is. He doesn't hate it, but he puts up with it.
My boyfriend
doesn't like horror. He doesn't like, my husband doesn't like jump scares. So if I can get him to watch some horror, as long as there's not too many
jump scares,
and it's on a very rare occasion, like my birthday, and I'm like, can we watch a
we only watch horror.
Like, okay, fine, you can watch a scary movie.
Yeah,
and then he'll let me.
Brad just won't do it. He won't do it. He can't do it. It scares him too much. And I feel for
the way he describes it, he's like, I can't stand jump scares. I can't stand like that feeling of something's gonna jump out. And I was like, imagine that all the time, because that's how I feel all the time.
Oh man, my boyfriend loves
that
it.
Anxiety that you get before the jump scare. That is me always.
Yep.
Like,
that's such a mood.
I feel that. Yeah, my boyfriend watches it all the time with me. He was raised on, he's a Jason person, so his is Friday the 13th. See, I'm more of a Michael person. We kind of had we have disagreements on who's better. But we watch horror like every night before bed. We'll watch a movie together. Like, we're just chilling in bed, just like, oh, they're gonna die. Cool. So it's just our everyday activity to watch horror together.
That is interesting that most of us did watch horror at a young age. I had kind of like the opposite experience as Raine, where I was the youngest of a lot of kids. My dad had I had stepkids and half and all sorts of things. So I was super young when I was introduced to horror. And at first it terrorized me and I had nightmares. But then watching it and not getting my nightmares, I had this empowerment, and then it turned into this obsession, and that's where we are now.
Yeah. That's so awesome.
Yeah, I definitely think it leads to that. Lyra said my mom was traumatized by Nightmare on Elm Street as a teenager, so she's amazed I can watch and read it and feel good.
I had the sweetest message off my dad the other day, because obviously he knows how obsessed I am with The Shining. I don't hide it. And he sent me a message saying that he just watched The Shining with my little brother, who is 9. And after that, he is gonna give, because in high school we can do we did a project to get us more points to get into uni. So I did my essay on The Shining, big time. And he read that and he really likes it. And then he made his wife read it, which is my stepmom, and she really likes it. So now my little brother is going to read that. And I just think that's just the sweetest thing.
That's so cute.
My mom bought me my first Stephen King book.
Oh,
we were by the pool, and yeah, it was awesome.
Gosh, I love it.
None of my people read. None of my people watch horror. None of my people read. What is my life?
Right. See, my mom watched a lot of horror. She never read horror. My mom is dyslexic. Yeah. My mom actually can't read. But she watched a lot of horror, which kind of sparked my love of horror.
Right.
It's so crazy. And then I was just 9 years old, and I was like, I want to try to read a Stephen King, which is funny because I'm now only 6 books deep. And the reason why is because at 10 years old, I tried to read a Stephen King book because I was such a big reader at the time.
Which one was it?
It was The Regulators.
No,
it was Desperation. That's what it was.
What made you pick that one at 9?
Because the cover was creepy with the little doll on the cover.
That is a good cover.
Yeah. So it creeped me out. So I was like, oh, this is scary. I like scary things. I was like 10 or 11, and I was like, I'm going to try to read this way over my head. I made it like a few pages in. And then for the rest of my life, up until 2 years ago, I was like, Stephen King is just too smart for me. I just will never get it. It'll be way over my head. And I was so intimidated, which is stupid to think, because I was like, I was 10, 11 years old. Of course I wasn't going to get it.
Well, I was intimidated without even reading
and I was
them.
like, I like scary movies. I'm gonna love this scary book. But
yeah. I was intimidated by Stephen King. That's why it took me so long. I think I started reading him 2 years ago because I was so intimidated by him. And I've read the first one and I'm like, well, what was I intimidated about? This is awesome.
I will say I did read it in junior high, so I got to revisit it again.
I read it in junior high and I know it went over my head. Like,
yeah, for me, so I do need to revisit and see where the weird stuff, if I'm like cool with it now.
yeah, I just like, I thought I could read it. I don't know what I was thinking, but then it immediately turned me off of King because I'll never understand.
I read The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon. That was the first Stephen King book I ever read. And it just like, because I had read horror as a kid, Bailey's School Kids. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but it's just like a book for little kids. It's like a mystery series. It's so fun. And Goosebumps and all that sort of stuff. And then when I read
the Babysitter series by R.L. Stein.
Oh,
yeah.
I love those.
I think it was The Babysitter. Yeah, because I just reread the first one.
So good.
What were you saying?
Oh, it just opened up a world, and I felt like I was like in the forest with this little girl who was lost, and I was terrified. And I closed.
I really liked that book. Some people don't like that book.
Man, I've been missing out. This is my life, and that's where my obsession began.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, I would always check out, like, I would always look for like the scariest covers whenever I was in like elementary school, middle school, like in the library. When I check out books, I was like, oh, what's got the scariest cover? I mean, I grabbed The Babysitter. I have it right here actually because I just read it not too long ago, and I was like, this looks so scary.
Or like Lois Duncan. Did you guys read her books ever? She did. I Know What You Did Last Summer and Killing Mr. Griffin.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Those were big ones. I remember, like, going to the school library and we were all, like, taking out her books. And I think what I hate now is, like, they reprinted them and added, like, cell phones and stuff. I'm like,
yes, I was so confused when I read it. I'm like, was this not written before cell phones? I was so confused. And then I Googled it, like, why are there cell phones in this book that was written in like the 70s or something? Yeah. And then they revamped
so
it.
Bad to hear that. I was like, no.
It was so weird. It totally brought me out of the story. But that's a weird one anyways. And she was very upset about how the movie turned out because it's actually like a very heartbreaking story about like a child dying. Like it's not at all how the movie changes it.
Yeah.
And I think actually her daughter was murdered or something, right?
Oh, I don't know.
I think I think if I'm not mistaken, I think like her daughter was murdered.
Oh,
wow.
I could be wrong.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I could have just made that up.
What happened?
I'm looking it up right now because
she's like, now I'm curious.
Yeah,
was The Shining the first horror book that you ever picked up? Or were you? Yeah.
The Shining was the first Stephen King book I picked up. I think.
Oh, but did you read horror before that?
I didn't. It's weird because I didn't really read as a child. I read more when I was like in my late teens, which wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, you're young.
But the first horror author I actually picked up was Dean Koontz, which is interesting because he does have so much. He has some good books, but he also has some really trash books. So you kind of have to like go through the bad ones to find the good ones. But the first one I read was Fear Nothing, and I actually really enjoyed that. And I don't want to read it again because I don't want to spoil my own past enjoyment of it. Because I feel like now I might not like it, but I have good memories of it, so I'm going to keep it in the box.
Keep it at that. It's probably the best thing to do.
I haven't read Dean Koontz yet, but Chandra recommended 3 of his books, and I bought them immediately.
Which ones?
Which ones do you have?
She recommend. Wait, where are they? She recommended. I gotta find them.
I have the ones I have on my shelf. I have 3 actually. I think it's called By the Light of the Moon. A friend of mine bought it. My friend Rosalind, she's like just super into weird stuff. So she will always give me the weirdest books. And then I have 2 that I bought myself. And that's Velocity and Intensity. And those just like kind of...
They're supposed to be good, but I haven't read them, so I can't comment. But I've heard people say that they did like those. So.
Yeah, like I think I had seen them on BookTube at some point, and then they kind of stuck in my brain. And when I saw them like used somewhere, I picked them up.
He actually has a new book that's literally was released a few days ago, and I pre-ordered it at the beginning of the year because I was like, maybe I'll try his new book and see if it's any different. And I haven't read it yet, but it is on my TBR.
So I've only saw 2 of them, but one of them is Whispers and the other one is Lightning.
Okay, I've not read those. I've not even actually heard of those. It has so many books, so it's hard to.
So I told her, I'm like, I haven't read Dean Koontz, and she's like, go buy these. I was like, done, but I haven't read them yet. I have to jump in.
Marcy just hauling books.
I'm like, what book? Okay, what?
I know, I'm so terrible. I had to like pretty much tell myself like, no more.
Me too.
I have my book of the month books, and that's about it. And I'm just reading what's on my shelf because I bought so many books recently that I'm like not even touching.
On quarantine?
I know.
Oh my gosh! I promise you guys that in 3 months I bought over 100 books, and I'm like, I need to stop. So like for last month and for this month, I'm only buying books that for example, I read Kingdom of the Wicked with Crystal, and I went and I bought it and I read it. So like, if I'm not willing to pick it up and read it, I'm not buying unless it's book of the month. Book of the month, I order and they just sit there.
Do you buy new books or do you have like a used bookstore?
Yes.
The used bookstore?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't have a used bookstore around me.
Oh, they're the best. I have a half price books. I mean, it's 30 minutes.
Yeah. I have one up the road, but I mean, I've kind of just been avoiding places like that.
Yeah.
Like COVID and stuff. So I haven't gone since.
We're actually in lockdown again over here, so I can't go out.
Oh, really? Well, we'll be there soon.
Yeah, we'll be there soon.
Where we are. Yeah.
I mean, we almost just need it. Just to things are scary.
They are bad.
Yeah, we have a 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. curfew or whatever. Like, I don't know, you can't catch COVID after 10 p.m. apparently.
Didn't you know that it comes out in the dark?
That's
hilarious. I think it's mostly because there was a lot of videos surfacing of bars and people were just like gyrating on everyone, no masks, nothing. And so the governor was like, you know what, I saw them now.
Oh my
god. People don't care. They're just like, it's cool.
But yeah, we have a really cool, I mean, like our used bookstore that's actually like close to me. Other than that, it's like a half price book. So they're used, yes, but they're still a chain. But we've got one that's right in our little like downtown area, and it's like strictly ran, like everyone who works there is a volunteer, and like all the proceeds go to like an adult literacy program. I've got some really good stuff there before. Like I found like an arc of Dreamcatcher by Stephen King. Like I'm like, what the heck? But it's nice to be like, oh, I just spent a ton of money, but at least it goes
to something. Yeah.
Also, Anna just sent me down a BuzzFeed rabbit hole of who killed Duncan's daughter.
Oh, so did I lie or no?
No, she was actually shot, like a drive-by shooting, and I don't think they ever solved it. And her boyfriend at the time tried to kill himself.
Oh my goodness!
It says something about a police cover-up. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look into it.
Wow, I didn't know all that. I just had.
Let me know what you find out. I'm interested now. I'm invested.
Yeah, like,
tell me if you find anything interesting. I need to know. Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna open up for any last-minute questions before we end up heading out, because I'm gonna have to pee at some point. Sorry.
I feel you,
I'm
honestly.
like, I've been sitting here drinking these.
Yeah, I was
And
saying,
like 2 hours later.
How dare you? How dare you?
It's 2 minutes past 1 in the morning right now.
Golly, I would have been sleeping alive.
Oh
The
my
fact
god,
that you're
how are you
still here is
still awake?
amazing. We like
Dedication.
yes,
Trooper.
we love it. So I'll let you go ahead first, Holly. Do you have anything coming up as far as your channel? Any like vlogs or any specific videos or anything you have going on?
I don't really have anything specific. I mean, I have a video scheduled for tomorrow, I think. I've started slowing down on uploads because I used to upload 3 times a week and that was just too much because I spend a lot of time editing because I like to get it really perfect. That makes sense. So I've started uploading like once a week now. So I get really excited when it gets to the day that it's going to come out. So yeah, there's a video coming out tomorrow. I guess the only other thing I've got to plug is my book club, if anyone wants to know about
What's your
that.
book club? I didn't know you had a book club.
Yeah, I only started it a few months ago, but it is a book club that focuses on queer graphic novels because I feel like they're not really talked about as much. And it's called the Queer Picture Book Club, and I'm on Instagram and Twitter with that.
Okay.
And I guess that's the only thing I have to plug.
Cool.
I'm gonna link that down below too. So I'm keeping notes, making sure I can link that as well for you. Leilani has a question. Do you guys like true crime podcasts, books, or documentaries? I love
all of the above.
Yes.
All of them.
I feel like I need to read more true crime. I feel like I don't read enough.
I love documentaries. I will watch true crime documentaries all day long, but I really suffer in the podcast department. I don't like podcasts. If I'm listening to something, it has to be an audiobook because podcasts sometimes they just don't do it for me. I tried, but no. But documentaries, I love true crime documentaries.
That's one thing, like, I guess, like, that my husband is, like, super into. It's so funny because I've been into true crime for so long, and I'll, like, start talking about, like, serial killers and stuff with my husband, and at first he would be like, you're really weird, like, you need to, like, maybe back a little bit because you're being real weird. And then I was like, no, it's fascinating. You don't get it. And then now he's so into watching them with me that he like, never gives me slack for that anymore.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I was gonna be a cop at one point. That was like my career path.
Really?
Yeah, so I'm super into, like, I like podcasts not so much, but Generation Y is one that I like.
I love podcasts.
And I like listening to true crime books because it reminds me, it's kind of like listening to a podcast. But yeah, documentaries are great. Even if it's like, I'll watch like the first 48 or like, you know, like the Lifetime or Oxygen ones. Those ones, Netflix or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I love those.
Yeah.
I'm big on true crime YouTubers. I love true crime YouTubers. Bailey Sarian, Kendall, Eleanor Neal, Danielle Hallen, anyone that
I need to know about these because I've only been recently introduced to Bailey.
Oh, I
just found out about her.
Oh, she's amazing.
Like,
yeah, I don't even like doing makeup.
Like this. It's just like with
her makeup's insane.
You're like, there's people that are like talking about true crime. Like oh my gosh, I
watch a ton of them. I can give you a list. Oh
my god, I'm not gonna have any time to do anything. I'm just going to be doing that. Like, I love podcasts. Like, I listen to so many true crime podcasts when I'm not reading books or listening to books. It's true crime podcasts.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't even have time for music anymore.
No.
Just like, I love Last Podcast on the Left is my favorite. I've recently gotten into in the last year, Red Handed's a really good one. I posted a bunch of them on my stories. I should have probably saved them, but since I'm hosting a true crime themed readathon, we did like a bingo board, and one of the challenges is to listen to a true crime podcast. But like, they're so good. They're just so good.
I agree.
What were those other YouTubers? I need to know now. So I can
Kendall Ray, she's amazing.
Oh, I love her.
Neal. Oh my gosh, Danielle Hallen. And I feel like there's someone else I'm missing that I watch.
You know who else is good, but they're more like they talk about the cases like the one of them is it's a crime. She does like actual cases that are presently like in court and happening. And then another one is Crime Talk. They're more like I think Crime Talk is an actual attorney that deals with true crime stuff. But they're pretty good. I mean, they're not as like
Creepy
fun.
Caffeine.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
Gabby told me about that one, and I haven't listened to them yet, but they're I did add them on my queue so I could listen to them.
Bella Fiore's one. She does makeup, fashion, and true crime, but she uploads true crime as well.
See, those are my people. Maybe I should just do books and true crime because that's all I do.
There you go.
It's such a big thing now, man. I remember when Bailey Sarian, I've been following her for like at least 5 years, even before she did YouTube.
I'm like, she would have been my girl for like.
Yeah, she started off on Instagram, and I've been following her since then. And then she came to YouTube, but when she started that the Monday videos, she blew up.
She's amazing.
Yeah, I love her.
She's so funny. She's so funny. She makes you not feel like so anxious about like your anxiety gets up. She like kind of jokes with you.
Yeah.
She acts like your friends talking. She does her makeup. It's so chill.
Yeah.
But she's just such a sweet person. I feel like
she's beautiful.
Oh my God, she's stunning.
She is.
Yeah.
Oh.
You know who's another one? Christina Randall. She does a lot. She has 2 channels.
Yes.
But she talks a lot about like the Chris Watts case. She has like a true crime video every week, and she's awesome.
Yes, I love her as well. She's so fun. Oh yeah. There's so many good ones, man.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. True crime's the good. Yeah. That's where it's at. That's great. That's a lot of fun. Marcy, do you have anything going on besides stuff with me?
It's like we're 2 for 1. No, I have a video coming out tomorrow as well, which is just my wrap up, and I don't think I'm working on anything else other than the Christmas thing, and that's it.
Yeah. We'll go ahead and talk about that so we can get that out of the way. Basically, we are hosting it's called a Scary Little Christmas-a-thon. And it's just like a spooky Christmas readathon. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going from December 14th to the 20th.
Nice.
And it's Marcy, Carol, and Sarah. We're all hosting that together. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I have all the info. It's going to be linked if you guys want. My video, I know, Carol, you have your video out. Sarah's came out. Marcy, did you do yours yet? I don't know if you're
I haven't filmed it yet.
Okay. So I'm filming mine. Well, I already filmed mine. I just have to edit it. So it'll probably be out tomorrow. But I'll go ahead and post on my Instagram, like the prompts and stuff, if you guys want to see those already. And then I have one other thing. I'm hosting a Kill Creek by Scott Thomas, that book. I'm hosting a read-along. That's with Savannah at Riveting Reads right here that loves Christina Randall. I'm hosting that with her and Deja and McKay. And we're going to host that. That's going to be in December. And then our live show is going to be on the 17th. So if anyone wants to read Kill Creek by Scott Thomas, that's like pretty much a quintessential horror book. I feel like so many people.
I need to.
I'm gonna read with you guys. Is McKay gonna like hardcore analyze that book?
I hope so, because that's why I asked him. McKay is. Oh my gosh, yes.
Have you read his
I
new
don't know
one?
who I am or anything, but I watch like his videos when he's like just like I'm thinking of ending things. I don't know.
He's so amazing.
I love him.
What?
Yeah.
He knows what he's talking about. And I just I love his perspective on things, and he just really lets it out. And so I had asked him, he had said he hadn't read the book, and I was like, hey, you want to join us in the read along for that? And he's like, yeah. So I'm excited because he's amazing, and just having him there, I haven't talked to him in person in a while. Well, I guess this is in person to me. But it's been a while. We did Read with Friends together, and I was like, yes, you gotta join us. It's gonna be so fun. So that's gonna be me and Savannah, McKay, and Deja. So we're gonna do that. And then the live show will be on the 17th. If you guys want to read Kill Creek. I know, Erin, you've read it before?
Yeah.
I just finished it not too long ago.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah.
It's like, I've heard like so many people, like I had such a hard time finding people who read horror that have not read the book.
Yeah.
I've
I've read it.
See, I'm like, I feel like I'm the last person in the world.
I recently read his newest short story that came out on
The
Halloween.
Boy in the Woods. Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, really? I haven't read that. Oh, Marcy.
Yeah, I was actually very kindly sent it by Inkshares to
me
read
too.
before. Yeah, and I really enjoyed that. I thought it was. I thought it could have been longer, to be honest. I would have
it's
enjoyed
gonna be
more
in
of
my
it.
wrap up. It's gonna be in my October wrap up tomorrow.
I'm excited. I'm really excited to read it, especially after like Gabby read it and then she like loved it.
It's good.
And it was already on my TBR, and then she was just like, "Oh my god, it's so amazing!" And then I'm like, "Crap! Like I should have read this whole time." Like I
Yeah, if it would have been a longer book, I would have sat there and read 300 pages in one sitting because it was just that good.
Yeah, I think I read it in a few days because I just couldn't. I was like, after this happens and then something else happens. I'm like, okay, after this happens and then it just
I'm so excited. I'm so excited. But McKay made me a little nervous because he did say he's DNF'd the book twice.
Which one?
He was like busy with other things, I believe. So like,
Ooh.
he was like, I was supposed to read it back in October. I've DNF'd it twice since then.
Which one? Kill Creek?
I'm like, oh my gosh, now I'm scared.
Are you talking about Kill Creek?
Yes.
Okay, so that same thing happened with me. I started Kill Creek like 2 years ago, but I loved that book. I was loving it while I was reading it, but I think I started a readathon and then just put it aside or I read it for a readathon and then the readathon ended and I didn't finish it. And so, but it's really good. If you want to put it down,
he had a lot going on or something. Like I don't think he was. Oh, I hated it or anything, but I was just like, you're making me nervous.
Yeah, when I wrote my review, I had put, I don't know why it took me 2 years to finish this book because it was just so good that I wanted to read it in one go.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I need to buy it and join in.
Yes. You totally should. It's going to be so much fun. Oh my gosh. I will totally have you on the live too. I don't even care. You don't have to be on the live, just to talk.
It would be my pleasure.
I would love that. Erin, do you have any, or you know what, Anda, you're next. Anda, do you have anything going on?
I'm hopefully going to upload a new story on my podcast this month if I get around to it. And then I'm trying to upload now every Sundays and Thursdays on my horror channel. So hopefully I can keep that up, but no specific video.
Okay.
That I can think of.
Awesome. Erin, what about you? What do you got going on?
I uploaded a video today. It's my Uzumaki review. But other than that, I'm planning Christmas videos. So if anyone has any recommendations for books I should read, please let me know because I want to read Christmas horror books and I have a list, but I haven't narrowed it down yet. So let me know.
I'm working on a video for that.
I was gonna say that.
I have that on my list. Should I absolutely buy it then? Is it really good?
I don't know. I haven't read it yet. My sister bought it last year and I'm going to read it, but I've heard so many great things.
It's good.
Okay,
I even laughed out loud.
Okay, it's on my list. I'll
yeah, I'm working on a Christmas horror video that's gonna go up probably the first, before the week of before winter goes up. Winter horror, not Christmas horror, winter horror.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, and other than that, I'm gonna do some Christmas makeup looks probably. So if anyone has any suggestions about those too, let me know. Cause I could do the Grinch and stuff like that. So. I don't know how creative I'm gonna get. I'll probably just do my eye thing. Cause I don't do the full face thing. Cause I'm I don't have the products. I need to go buy things to do all that kind of stuff with. Cause I don't have them yet. But so simple makeup tutorials kind of thing. But other than that, no, just my typical Monday, Wednesday, Friday videos. So
awesome. Carol, anything? You are also hosting Scary Little Christmas with me.
Yep.
So, and then that's about it.
Yeah, I'm just hanging out, man.
I keep throwing her into different things. I mean, she's joining us now for Stacks of Strange, which is my weird book club thing, where this month we're reading In the House in the Dark of the Woods by Larry Hunt. So that's what we're reading right now, and then we're gonna live discuss it here on my channel on December 5th. So Carol's gonna be joining us. she's going to be like an official attendee of those from now on. I don't know. I've lost my words for some reason. But it will be a lot of fun. It's going to be great. There's going to be 7 of us now. I'm so excited. We're just going to talk about weird books. That's what we do each month. We read a weird book and then we talk about it. So I have a lot planned for December. I'm like, holy cow, that's a lot. But I'm really excited. It's going to be fun. I'm so happy that you guys decided to join and like you all made it here. It was so much fun. It was. I feel like. So
Thank you for putting this together.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to do more of these now, and you guys are all so much fun. This is great. We have such a great conversation, and everything's been great. So
yeah, we got to do another one because Crystal has to join us.
Yes, for sure. And I just like really like talking horror with people, and like I said before, like how horror is becoming like more of a like it's becoming a bigger deal. That people should check you guys out. You guys have thank you guys for joining me. So and everyone in the chat. Thank you guys for being here and watching.
Thanks for hosting.
We'll see you next time. Hopefully, we'll do this again soon.
Yes.
Yes, definitely.
Definitely will.
Bye.
Bye.